Hello and welcome to Chapter 6, Section 5. This is solving percent problems. Now we started solving percents in 6-4 when we looked at what is 48% of 90, what is 27% of 60. And there are two other ways to look at these problems, and this section deals with those two other ways. Okay? Before, we had 26% of 100 is what? Now we're going to rearrange those words for a bit. Instead of looking for the answer, now we're looking for the percent. So all of these questions ask what percent. So you're given the whole and you're given the part, and you've got to figure out what percent is connecting those two. So we're going to start with the equation side again. We'll get to the proportion side in just a sec. Again, we have to translate English into math. Remembering that of is multiply and is means equals. And everything else should be numbers or a variable. Now what percent? This is the number we don't know. So this is going to be our variable. So we're actually going to start this with x, because we don't know this number. And of is multiply, and we're going to stick a 90 in here, and is means equals, and here's our number. And look, it tells us how to do the math. 90x equals 50. I've got a 90 multiplied to my x. How do I get rid of it? I'm going to divide each side by 90. I'm going to divide this by 92. Now these go away, and I've got x equals, and 50 divided by 90, I'm going to do a little bit of math. 50 divided by 90, and 90 goes into 500 5 times. 450, oh, check this out. 90, I'm going to bring down another 0. 90 goes into 500 5 times. It's going to continue. So this x equals 55.5 bar percent, because this is going to continue being 5s. Next question. 12 is what percent of 70? Again, we're looking for the percent. So this is our x. 12 is a number. Is means equals. Of means multiply. 70 is a number. So again, I've got a number multiplied to my x. So I'm going to divide this side by 70, divide this side by 70. Now all I have to do is figure out what 12 divided by 70 is. And 12 with 2 decimals, and 70 goes into 12. Oh, once 70 subtract 12 minus 7 is 50. 70 goes into 500. 7 goes into 50 7 times. That's 49 with a 0, and that's 10. And I bring down another 0. And 70 goes into 101. So this is 17.1%. Now we're going to try the proportions. So, what percent? The percent is the part that we don't know. And the percent is the number over 100. So that's where our x is. Our x is over 100. And this is our part to the whole. So I've got 75 parts to 105 whole. So now I'm going to cross multiply. 105x equals 75 times 100. So I'm just going to do that, 75 times 100 right now. I'm going to divide each side by 105. Well, that's a pain in the neck. That's 4 times. So this is 71.4%. So let's try this again. 25 is what percent of 80? So again, our what percent is x over 100 parts to a whole. 25 parts to 80. So we're going to cross multiply again, and we have 80x equals 25 times 100. 2500 divided by 80 is 3, 10, 80 goes into 101, so this is about 31%. Okay? two ways to do it. I need you to learn both ways. You can settle for your favorite part after this test, but I need you to be able to work both for a little while, okay? So, your turn. You're going to try 18 is what percent of 72, and what percent of 90 is 27, and you're going to try this using equation and proportion. Push pause, come back soon. All right. 18 is x times 72, so I'm going to divide each side by 72. And 72 goes into 182 times, 144, which is 36, 360. 72 goes into 365 times. 5 times 2 is 10, 14, 15. Nope, 30, 36, there. So this is 25%. What percent of 90 is 27? Well, 90 is our whole, and 27 is our part. 27. So 27 times 100 equals 90x. And we're going to divide each side by 90. And I'm going to get rid of that. And 9 goes into 27 3 times, and 9 goes into 0 times. So x equals 30%. So 30% of 90 is 27. How'd you do? Let's give something else a try. Now, this gives you the percent, and it gives you the answer, and it's asking you for the question. 12 is 8% of what number? 48 is 20% of what number? Or I could flip that around and say 15% of what number is 30. So again, these are going to be equations, and these are going to be proportions. So let's work these out. 12 is 8%, and I'm going to write it as a decimal, times x. Because I can work with decimals. I can actually multiply and divide decimals. So I'm going to divide each side by 0.08, divided by 0.08. So 12 divided by 0.08, I'm going to move the decimal over twice. I'm going to move the decimal over twice. How many times does 8 go into 1200? Well, 8 goes into 120. Oh, 8 goes into 12 once. 4 left over. 5. So 8% of 150 is 12. Which sounds about right because 10% of 150 is 15. So, it sounds reasonable. Let's try another one. 56 equals 110% is 1.10 of x. Well, I'm going to divide each side by 1.1. And I'm going to do a little bit of long division. And 56 goes in the top and 1.1 goes on the bottom. And I'm going to move that decimal over one time. 11 goes into 56 5 times. And 11 goes into 10 0 times. So it's about 50. I'm going to bring down another 0. 11 goes into 109 times. So it's 50.9. 56 is 110% of 50.9. And that makes sense because 56 is 100% of 56. So this is a close enough number. All right, let's try it with proportions. Here's our percent, 20 over 100, and 48. So 48 is the part, and we're trying to look for the whole number. So 48 times 100 equals 20x, and I'm going to divide each side by 20. And 20 goes into 40 twice. 20 goes into 84 times, and 0. So 48 is 20% of 240. proportion 15 over 100 is 15% of what large number is this small number? 30 on the top, x on the bottom. So 30 times 100 equals 15x. Divide by 15, divide by 15, 3,000, divide by 15, 200. So your turn. You've got 210% of what number is 147, and 8.8 is 40% of what number? Give it a shot, push pause, I'll see you in a sec. 210, 2.1 times x equals 147. Divide by 2.1, divide by 2.1, those go away. 147 divided by 2.1, there. 21 goes into 147, 7 times 1 is 7, 7 times 2 is 14, subtract 0, 8.8 is 40% of what number? Nope, that's equation. You want proportion. You want 40 over 100 is 8.8 is the percent, so it's the small one, and the x goes down here. So I've got 8.8 times 100, so my decimal's going to move over 2 times. So 880 equals 40x. Divide by 40. 880 to 40. 280, 82. So 22. How'd you do? Not so bad. A little bit of math, but it's not hard. So here's your practice. What percent of 5 is 4? And you get to pick how you solve it. 9 is 30% of what number? And then a word problem. A pack of $3 pencils sells for $3.21 after sales tax. How much is the tax? So the question really is, what is the percent? But I need you to understand the tax itself is only 21 cents. It's not $3.21. So what's the percent? 21 cents is what percent of $3? Got it? Give it a try, see how it works, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.